If you ended up here, there must be one thing, at least one thing that you would like to change about your life, and I'm here to guide you through it. I'm here to explain to you the concept of really what it's like to totally change your life, reframe your mind, and I'm gonna help you press restart. How you can totally change your life in a matter of months. And you can do this as many times as you like. So first I'm gonna talk about kind of like the concept of resetting your life and timelines and all of that. I might lose a few of you there, so I'm gonna create like a part to where you can just skip to the steps if you don't want to lay down the groundwork, understand the framework of it all. But for those who want the full scope of it all, continue watching. The best way that I can think to explain this is if you've ever watched the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's a beautiful, beautiful movie. Honestly, life-changing. Watch it if you haven't. Best way I can think to explain how to change your life, how to change your timeline. If you haven't seen the movie, I'm sorry. I'm gonna spoil it for you. If you want to go ahead and watch the movie first if you don't want to be spoiled. But I have to spoil it just to explain really what I'm kind of trying to get at here. But basically, it's how you can tap into different versions of yourself. Like, for example, the main character had a version of herself where she was an opera singer and really great at singing, and she had a version of herself where she was rich and famous, and then she had a version of herself who was really good at that, or a version of herself who was bad at that. Just all of these infinite different versions of herself, right? In the movie, she would tap into these different versions of herself and use those skills to apply into her certain timeline. Now, obviously, this isn't like a sci-fi movie and we can't do that. However, I think what we can take from this is that you can imagine yourself as something completely different, as someone completely different that is good at this thing, and you can take what you like from it and apply it to your own life, to your own present life. And I know I listened to Amina Irfan. She actually talks about this concept of timeline jumping. She understands it way better than I do. And if I can find a video where she specifically mentions it, I will link it down below. But basically, it's how you can say you're in the timeline, your current one, you don't like it, you want to jump to something else. You want to jump to a timeline where you're rich and famous. You want to jump to a timeline where you're charismatic. You want to jump to a timeline where you're happily married. You have to change your mindset and get it to align with your mind, align with the mind of the person who is where you want to be, so you can take those characteristics, apply it to your current self, so you can then take those two timelines and merge them together. I know I might be losing some of you here, but I'm going to continue to break it down to make it easier to digest, you know? Okay, so part or step one of this is your new life is going to cost your old one. I'd like to think of this in a quote by a YouTuber that I love to listen to. Like, she's super inspirational. She actually recently started a podcast that I'm gonna link below. But in one of the first few episodes, it was named "Your New Life is Going to Cost Your Old One," and I feel like that perfectly like encapsulates like what it's going to take you to the next place, to take you to the next level, the next step, wherever you want to go. I'll leave her podcast down below if you would like to listen to that in your free time, you know, when you're driving or whatever. But I also kind of like to think of it as you're giving up who you were, everything that you were, all the choices that you've made, like all the habits that you have to give all of that up, and you have to do new things to become a new person. So it's like the comfort of your current life, that's another thing. Like, you have to give up that comfort, and that's why in life it's really hard for us to make big changes, mainly because of habits and because of, you know, our own feelings and emotions about things. But it's also because of the comfort. We feel comfortable doing what we've already been doing. We feel comfortable where we are, but we have to give up that comfortable spot and now look to something that we've never done before. Look to something, you basically go into uncharted territory and find a way to make it our new norm. So I kind of think of it as the person that you were even just 1 minute ago. She's in the past now. She served her purpose. She got you here. She's in the past now. But now you're in the present. And soon you will be in the future. I feel like this is going to kind of start leading into my second point, which is you have to stop saying that you're trying to be different, that you want to be different, that you are going to get there. Because if you are always saying that you are trying or that you want to, you will always be trying and you will always want to. But at some point you have to just be. At some point you have to just, I am there. At some point you just have to, I am there. I am here. And this is where I get to the second point, which is embodiment versus performance. It's not quite a fake it till you make it statement, but rather than focusing on your result, aka the performance of it, focus on the actual moment of it all. It's kind of like Miley Cyrus's song, it's the climb. The song is about how rather than, enjoying when you get to the top of the mountain, of course we all want that. We want the top of the mountain, we want the picture up there, we want the view, but a lot of people miss out on the actual climb, the actual journey that it takes you to get there, which sometimes, depending on what kind of journey you're taking, it's the journey there that ends up being more fulfilling than the actual end result of it. But in this case, we want the result and we want the journey. So an example of this would be, say that you are working out because you want a nice body. Sure, we want a nice body. But if you are always going to the gym thinking, oh, I want a nice body, you're going to find it hard to have more motivation than just that, to go. But if you focus on enjoying the actual act of going to the gym rather than what it can provide for you, and sure, in all things we look for the result of it, and that's why we do it, but sometimes just try to find the joy in the actual journey and the actual doing. Think in terms of working out instead. Like, I work out because it helps me blow off steam. I work out because I love seeing my body do things it's never done before. I enjoy working out because I enjoy walking on the treadmill, or I enjoy walking in nature. And when you think about doing these things, and not even just working out, thinking about doing anything that is somewhat hard to do just on its own, try enjoying the actual moment of it. It may help you get to your result faster, because it's kind of like, oh, I don't chase, I attract, and the harder you chase something, the more it runs away from you, kind of thing. Like, instead of thinking of chasing that result, try thinking of being in the moment, embodying it, not faking it. Like, don't go to the gym and fake enjoying it. Actually try to find something in it that you enjoy. And so here we are getting to the actual nitty-gritty steps of it all. If you can change your environment in any way, change it. Not everyone can pick up and move to a new city, move to a new apartment, move to a new state, any of these things, or even a new job. If those things are within your reach, do them. But if they are not possible at the moment, then let's focus on the smaller scale of things. And let's think of repainting your room, rearranging your room, maybe buy a new rug, buy a new comforter. The point of it is to change something about your environment so that every time you look at this thing, it's a constant reminder of your commitment to doing something new. And in my mind, this also counts as removing things that no longer serve you. I feel like for any item that you have that is a part of your past life, maybe from an ex-friend, or for whatever reason, it's just maybe it reminds you of something that you just don't really like to think of. This isn't really like shoving it under the covers and not thinking about it, but this is actually just removing your attachment from whatever negative energy it may be giving you, or whatever it is that will not contribute to who you want to be. For example, me, I want to appear as someone who comes off very clean looking, very well put together. If I have clothes that have holes in them and tears or stains, that doesn't support that image. So it no longer serves me holding on to it. Or another example, if I have a teddy bear from an ex and things didn't end well, and every time I look at it, I now think of that. That does not serve me in any way. So with that being said, those are some examples of some things that I would remove and not take into this new life with me. So now that we've got to change your environment out of your way, we are now going to reevaluate. What exactly is it that you want to change? And what exactly in your life keeps you from your desired outcome? This is literally like make a list. And for example, say I bite my nails. I no longer want to bite my nails. This is where you're going to sit down and think, what are some things that I can do to keep myself from doing this? What is the trigger that makes me bite my nails? And how can I effectively remove the trigger or remove the habit and replace it with one that would help me with my desired outcome? For example, mine was cursing. Or maybe you can think of another habit. So you want to stop blank habit. I noticed that when I spoke to certain friends, I cursed more. And that's not to say that they are the issue, but it just shows that I need to be more mindful of how I speak when I speak to certain people. And also it shows me that my cursing was somewhat performative because it was only around certain friends and not exactly everyone. Now that I've listed out my habit, I've identified the trigger, I can find another way to replace it. And the easiest way for me, just for the cursing example, is finding new words to place it with. Like literally just find a cute word. Like I don't say the A word, I just say but. I don't say the H word, I just say heck. I don't say the H word, I just say heck. So it's kind of like a small substitute to the actual bad habit. And maybe if your bad habit is something that's common, you can try to look up specific ways how to get rid of that habit. Like for example, for biting nails, that's not really an issue that I have, but maybe someone who's gone through it before, like on TikTok, Google, like literally outsource and find someone who's an expert in getting rid of the habit you're looking to get rid of. Okay, so my third point is, if you are still in the same environment from your old life, it's not gonna be rare for opportunities from your old life, things from your old life to still fall at your feet. And what I mean by that is you will still be presented with the same choices that you had when you were in your old life, and it's gonna be up to you to make new choices so you can start to branch off from who you were. To live a new life, you must do things that you've never done. I'm pretty sure you've heard that quote before. And that comes in the big grand ways and also in the very, very small decisions that you make, even the ones that you make by yourself. And when I say make by yourself, I mean the decisions that you make alone, the decisions that no one else sees you make, or no one else sees the effects of what happens when you make that choice. Resetting your life can be easy and it can be simple if you let it. But every opportunity you have to be different, to do something different, you have to take it. You stay in bed an extra hour late. If you stay there, you are making a choice to stay the same as you've always been. But if you get up, that's a new choice. Let's say if you find yourself in drama or you find yourself around people that you don't even like, the next time that you have an opportunity to remove yourself, the next time you have an opportunity to engage, change the way that you engage. Make a different choice than you've always made, and you will get a new outcome. Make the choice to separate yourself from your old self. But my fourth point is, even though you are now separating yourself from your old self, that does not mean you should not thank her. That does not mean you should not love her. You should not understand her and why she did the things that she did, but also you shouldn't cringe at her. You shouldn't be embarrassed of her. You shouldn't be angry at her, nor should you regret her. You should always accept yourself, every version of yourself, even the part of yourself that you may want to shy away from. But that's the thing, when you shy away from yourself and you reject your own self, that's how you create an insecurity around these things about yourself. It's not that looking to someone else to accept whatever you may be insecure about yourself is what's going to free you from that. The first step is for you to accept yourself. So the first thing you need to do is, even though you are trying to reset your life and get away from who you used to be, that does not mean that you should reject who you were. You should look back on her with love every time, every opportunity that you get. And even when people bring it up to you and, remember how you used to do this? Remember how you used to do that? Don't cringe. Don't laugh at her with them. That was you. You love her. She didn't know things back then. She didn't know what you knew now. With that being said, that does not mean that she deserved to be laughed at or she deserves to be cringed at. And you cannot control if other people do that, but you can control if you do that. You should always accept yourself. And sure, some things are just funny and you just gotta laugh at, but you should never look back and cringe and have any sort of negative hatred or anything like that towards you, because that's you, and you should always love yourself in any form that you come in. Forgive yourself for the choices that you have made that you might not have liked. All right, and so we're just about at the end, but I have a bonus tip for you. This book, Robin Sharma, The 5 a.m. Club, I read it through and through. It's basically about how to optimize your morning routine, and I feel like this is really helpful for resetting your life. Your morning routine, the first start of your day, it sets the tone for the rest of the day. And if you start your day good consistently, you will consistently have good days where you make good choices, and that eventually will lead you right to where you want to be. I'm not going to read the whole book to you. I'm just going to find my favorite part here and show you what I think is the most important thing in this whole book. He hyped it up, and I'm giving y'all the literally straight to the point. Okay. Basically, they say to wake up early before the rest of the world wakes up, preferably 5 a.m. and to have something that the author calls your victory hour, which I love this. It's basically an hour where you spend specifically on yourself in 3 categories: move, reflect, and grow. So you think of it in an hour span in 20-minute pockets. The first 20 minutes, as soon as you wake up, you need to do something physical. Like, I just look up a YouTube workout for 20-minute long HIIT workout, high intensity. You need to sweat for the first 20 minutes. I'm talking like before you even brush your teeth, hop up out of the bed, 20-minute video workout. I know it sounds crazy. Just do it. Just try it out. Give me one morning. Try it out. And then for the next 20 minutes, this is where you're going to journal. You're going to plan your day. If you're religious like me, you're going to pray and also meditate. This is kind of just more like the reflective, just kind of thinking, planning out your day. And then for the last 20 minutes, which for this part of my day, this is kind of when I actually start getting ready for work. Like, I'll brush my teeth at the same time as I do this last 20 minutes. And this is where you're gonna read books, you're gonna listen to podcasts. That's me. I'm a podcast girly through and through. Or listen to an audiobook or study. Basically, this last 20 minutes, you're using it to learn something. And learn something that's gonna better yourself. Learn something that's for you. Or if you're in school at the moment, this is where you can start studying for your day. So I would like to challenge you and just give me one morning where you wake up at 5 a.m. and you use that morning routine that I just gave you. And if you need a podcast to listen to the one I dropped down in the description below. Haley Gamba, amazing YouTuber. If you haven't watched her, watch her. She's chef's kiss. Anyway, this video is getting a little long, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be back with another video next week.